welcome to Fast Friday here at the Phoenix International Raceway as we are getting set for NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying as we will set the grid for Sunday's Camping World 500, the fourth race of the 2017 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series season. I'm Rick Burton here in the booth, here to give you full coverage of Cup Series qualifying as we are back to the traditional single car qualifying. NASCAR announced this week that they have gotten rid of the group qualifying, the rounds, all of that is gone, and we are back to the qualifying format that we had prior to 2014, the single car qualifying. Now, group qualifying will be back at the road courses, but it'll be a little bit different. We'll talk about that when the road courses come on the schedule. Right now, we are at Phoenix, and we have 44 cars here entered this weekend for the Camping World 500. 44 cars are here. 42 cars per race on Sunday, meaning that 2 drivers will go home at the end of qualifying. Now, to make the race is a little bit different from what we had in the first 3 races of the year. First 3 races of the year, we were pretty much basing it on 2016 owner points. But beginning this weekend for both Cup and Xfinity, it'll be the top 36 cars in qualifying that will make the show on speed. The top 36 and positions 37 through 42nd will be based on 2017 owner points. So if you're in the top 36 on speed, you are in the show no matter where you are in owner points. Let's take a look at speeds from practice this morning. 5th quickest in practice was the number 14 of CLINT BOWYER, making his first start here at Phoenix for Stewart-Haas Racing. BOWYER was 5th quickest in the 5-hour Energy Ford Fusion. 4th quickest is former Phoenix winner Kyle Busch, 18. Skittles on board the number 18 Toyota Camry this weekend. He was 4th quickest in practice. He'll be running only 1 race this weekend, not running the Xfinity race. 3rd fastest in practice was the 17 Ricky Stenhouse Jr. Not one of his best tracks when you look at the results from the past couple of years, but Stenhouse had a great lap, a 3rd in practice. 2nd fastest was maybe the big favorite to win this weekend, number 4 of Kevin Harvick. The Jimmy John's Ford was 2nd in practice. He has 8 wins here and in the desert. But the fastest man in town this morning was the number 20 of Matt Kenseth, the DeWalt Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing. Kenseth was the quickest of all 44 cars entered in that one and only practice session this morning. Now, qualifying will be happening in the reverse order of practice speeds. Matt Kenseth was the quickest. He'll be going out last at the end of qualifying. When we come back, we'll have the first car making its way onto the racetrack as NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying is set to begin here when we come back to the Phoenix International Raceway. We'll come back here to Phoenix as the first car is now making its way onto the speedway. The first guy to qualify, the number 15 of Stephen Light, the 2012 NASCAR Sprint Cup Rookie of the Year. And like we said before qualifying started, that qualifying will be going on. The qualifying order would be based on practice speeds from this morning. Stephen Light is the first car to go out, meaning that he was the slowest in practice this morning. Tesla on board as the primary sponsor, and Premium Motorsports was in the news this week, announcing a couple of announcements. First one being that they have changed numbers from number 98 to number 15 beginning this weekend at Phoenix. Also, they have named Stephen Light as the full-time driver of this number 15 Chevrolet for the remainder of the 2017 season, beginning right here at Phoenix. Light takes the white flag on his qualifying run, a 29.376. Now, the 2 drivers who need to qualify their way into the top 36 are Joey Gase and Ryan Ellis, the 2 Rookie of the Year contenders. Stephen Light doesn't necessarily have to be in the top 36 to make the show, as he can fall back on owner points. But you know, Light would love to get himself in the show on speed, and right now a 29.050 for the number 15 of Stephen Light. That is the fastest lap so far, as he's only the only car to make his way onto the speedway. as the next car is now rolling out of turn number 4. That is the number 30 Incredible Bank Chevrolet of TJ Bell behind the wheel. The Team G Chevrolet this weekend. This car made the Daytona 500 with Bobby Gerhart and actually got a top 20 finish out of the 500, but they have failed to make a race since last weekend at Las Vegas, along with Atlanta. Right now, TJ Bell, another driver who doesn't necessarily have to be inside the top 36 on speed to make the show, but he would really love to go ahead and get it out the way on speed. And TJ Bell put up a 29.322 on his first lap, and I believe that is the area where we saw the 15 car of Stephen Light run. Stephen Light ran a 29.050. Right now, Bell is about 300ths off from what Light ran, but Bell could pick up pretty much the same amount of that Light did as he makes his way from turn 4 to come across the line a 29.079. That is second fastest for the number 30 of TJ Bell. Next car on track, the number 32, Joey Gase, the JT Concrete Ford Fusion out of Go Fast Racing. And speaking of fast, that is what Joey Gase has to do here in qualifying. He must be inside the top 36 on speed if he wants to race. He is too low in the owner points to make the race on a provisional, so Gase must be in the top 36, and that's kind of a hard task because Gase was only 42nd in practice. Joey Gase made his first race of the year last weekend at Las Vegas. Makes his way to turn number 4. He takes the white flag, a 29.505. That is slower than what Stephen Light and TJ Bell ran on their first lap, so a little bit off for the number 32 of Joey Gase. New sponsor, like we said, JT Concrete. Be on board this number 32 car for about 5 to 6 races, along with Donate Life, the primary sponsor for Joey Gase. And he takes the checker flag, a 28.928 for Joey Gase. And that is quicker than both Stephen Light and TJ Bell. A big pickup for Joey Gase. Is that enough to win the show? We'll have to find out a little bit further in the qualifying session. But nice pickup for Joey Gase. The 55 Reed Sorenson, the Holland Busch Chevrolet out of Premium Motorsports, now takes the green flag in this qualifying run. Reed Sorenson failed to qualify last weekend at Las Vegas, so his West Coast swing kind of begins right here, should he make the show. Sorenson was 41st in practice, the 4th qualifier to go out. His teammate Stephen Light went out first. He's right now second to Joey Gase. TJ Bell is 3rd, and Sorenson comes out of turn 4. He'll see the white flag for his qualifying run. And lap number 1 consists of a 29.282. That is currently 4th quickest of the 4 cars that have now taken time. But that's a pretty good first lap compared to the other 3 drivers. So we'll see what Sorenson can do here on lap number 2. Making his way to turn 4, he'll see the checker flag in the air, and it will be a pickup of a 29.176. That is 4th quickest of the 4 cars that have taken time here at Phoenix. The 5th qualifier is the 46 of David Reagan, the Brandy Chevrolet out of Harry Scott Motorsports. He just took the green flag for his qualifying run. He was 40th in practice for David Reagan. Making his way through turns number 3 and 4. David Reagan, a guy who would be expected to be able to make the show on a provisional, so his slow speed may not matter that much. We'll see what he can do here in on lap number 1, a 29.277 for the 55 of David Reagan. That is currently 5th of the 5 cars that we've seen take time. Now we've seen a lot of pickups from a guy like Joey Gase and small pickup from a guy like Reed Sorenson. So we're not quite sure what lap number 2 will hold for us this afternoon as we go deeper in this qualifying session. But for David Reagan, It'll be a 29.148. That is fourth quickest for the 46 of David RAGAN. The first Toyota to make his way onto the track in qualifying belongs to the 26 DILLON. It'll be the first BK racing car to go out onto the speedway for qualifying. He is the 6th qualifier this afternoon, and for lap number 1, he is currently on right now. A new sponsor for the 26, Dr. Pepper, making their first appearance on the 26 this year in 2017. LUPTON also making his first appearance in 2017 as he takes the white flag. And lap number 1 for the rookie Dillon Lupton, a 29.367 for the 26. That is currently 6 of the 6 cars that have taken time. Making his way through turns number 3 and 4. You'll see the checker flag waving in the air, and the lap for the number 26 of Dillon Lupton, a 29.008. A 29.008. That is second for the 26 of Dillon Lupton. 5 cars. That is the number of cars that the 32 of Joey Gase has out-qualified so far in qualifying. Should Joey Gase beat 3 more cars, he would lock a spot in the field. And should Joey Gase make the show, that would put this car right here, the 23 of David Gilliland, on the bubble to make the show, which would mean the 23 would have to be inside the top 36 on speed. David Gilliland for BK Racing, his teammate Dillon Lupton, now he is 2nd overall in the number 26. David Gilliland, first lap, a 29.364 for David Gilliland. The Deathless Blasting Toyota Camry, Gilliland was not that good practice, only 38 for David Gilliland. Running full time for BK Racing in 2017, Ron Devon, the team owner. Fielding 4 cars this weekend. The second car will come out of turn 4 and post an official lap time, which will be a 28.975. That is second fastest for David Gilliland, and yet again Joey Gase beats another car here in qualifying. Out of turn number 4 is another BK Racing Toyota who takes the green flag in qualifying for the Camping Road 500 on Sunday. The number 83 of Michael Annette, the TMC Toyota Camry, will be making his 7th. We'll be hoping to make his 7th career Cup Series start here in the desert on Sunday. Should he qualify for the event, Michael Annette and his team is pretty high enough on the points where he should be fine, but makes his way out of turn 4 to put down the first lap, a 29.202. That is right now the slowest time, but we're pretty much going to see the first lap pretty much be the throwaway lap. It'll be the second lap that matters, but what matters is how much can he pick up from lap number 1 to lap number 2. It's really been kind of a very different increases on the second lap in the first couple of cars we've seen go out to qualify, as Michael Annette takes the checker flag, a 28.911. That is the quickest lap here in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying, a 28.911. Michael Annette to the top of the board in the 83. Another driver who isn't 100% locked in to Sunday's race would be the number 35 of Ryan Reed. They are the 4th lowest team in owner points that are here to compete this weekend. Ryan Reed, the Rookie of the Year contender out of Front Row Motorsports. He'll be the first front row car to hit the speedway for qualifying. Right now, Michael Annette is the quickest at a 28.911, followed by Joey Gase in 2nd. The number 23 of David Gilliland is 3rd. Dillon Lupton and Stephen Light, TJ Bell, David RAGAN, and Reed Sorts. And those are the 8 cars that have now taken time prior to Ryan Reed, who puts down a 29.296 for the 35 of Ryan Reed. Now, as qualifying goes on, we would expect these cars to get a lot quicker. So, what you would expect to be Ryan Reed to be going to the top of the board, that may not be the case. As he comes out of turn 4, he'll see the checker flag for his qualifying run. Ryan Reed A 28.816. Top of the board goes to 35 of Ryan Reed. He's now the quickest here in the desert. A 28.816 for Ryan Reed. The number 44 of Regan Smith now takes the green flag on his qualifying run. This 44 team has been struggling all weekend long and really all season long. Hasn't really been that good of a start to 2017 for Regan Smith. And this 44 car on the back straightaway, going down into turn number 3, he was quicker than all the cars that's already went out in practice. So ideally we would expect to see the 44 go to the top of the board, but that's not always the case, as we've seen a lot of that so far here in qualifying this afternoon, as he takes the white flag, or I'm sorry, his checker flag, a 28.672. That is quickest here at Phoenix. Regan Smith goes to the top of the board at a 28.672. We have talked about Joey Gase being one of the drivers who must be inside the top 36 on speed to qualify for Sunday's race. There's one other guy who is in the same boat as Gase, and that would be the number 93 of Ryan Ellis. The Science Logic Toyota Camry is the 11th qualifier to go out here this afternoon, and he's also the fastest of the BK Racing cars in practice. Right now his teammates are 3rd, 5th, and 6th for Ryan Ellis. He needs to be 3rd or quicker to qualify for Sunday's race. Can he do it as he makes his way from turn number 4? He takes the white flag, a 29.247 for Ryan Ellis. If he is 3rd fastest or faster, 2nd or 1st, he would lock a spot in the field. Right now, Joey Gase, David Gilliland, those are two drivers who do not want to see the 93 pick up. As they come from turn number 4, Ryan Ellis takes the checker flag, a 28.904, 3rd quickest for Ryan Ellis. Ryan Ellis has qualified for Sunday's Camping World 500. He should be inside the top 36 on speed after that run, so that should put Ryan Ellis into the show for Sunday's race. On track now, the number 34 Loves Travel Stops forward of Chris Buescher. He takes the green flag, and we have been confirmed that Ryan Ellis is locked into the show with his 28.904. That is great for BK Racing, but not always great for BK Racing, because that puts Ellis's teammate David Gilliland on the bubble to make the show now. And Gilliland, I'm not sure his lap would be good enough to get him in, as Chris Buescher takes the white flag for Chris Buescher, a 29.155. That is a pretty good first lap for Chris Buescher compared to the other drivers who have been out on track. He is actually 11th quickest of the 12 cars that have qualified so far, and Chris Buescher, a former Xfinity Series champion, the 2nd front row car to take the track here in qualifying, comes out of turn 4. He'll see the checker flag in the air, a 28.887. That is 3rd quickest for Chris Buescher, puts him right behind his teammate Ryan Reed at the moment. A 28.887, 3rd quickest for Chris Buescher. Now on track, the number 7 Arctic Coolers Chevrolet of Cole Whitt, and this is going to be a pretty good weekend for this guy. Cole Whitt announced this week that he'll be rejoining Genius Motorsports for 10 NASCAR Xfinity Series races in 2017, so it's going to be a big deal for Cole Whitt, who currently drives a underfunded Chevrolet for Tommy Baldwin Racing. Cole Whitt coming off a 42nd place finish at Las Vegas last weekend after a crash involving Casey MEARS and Michael McDowell. Whitt trying to get a little bit of redemption with a good finish, or beginning with a good qualifying run here in qualifying. The 13th qualifier to go out in a 29.157. That's another good first lap compared to what we have seen so far in this session. Cole Whitt enters turn number 3. See his car slide up the track. We've been seeing that a lot so far. We haven't really seen a car being able to keep their car right near that yellow line through the corners, as Whitt takes the checker flag, a 28.877. That is 3rd quickest for Cole Whitt in the number 7. On track now, the number 27 of Paul Menard, another car out of H. Scott Motorsports. Paul Menard, his teammate David RAGAN is only 12th quickest. Paul Menard, a teammate to David RAGAN. Let's see what he can do here on his qualifying run. On his first lap down the back straightaway for Paul Menard. Menard Snipco Chevrolet. Right now we have seen 13 drivers post a time. 44 cars are entered. A lot more left to go as we will find out who wins the pole, as Menard now takes the white flag on his run, and his first lap has a 29.139. That is currently 12th quickest. That's the fastest first lap we have seen so far this afternoon, I believe, or maybe at least the second fastest lap. I can't quite remember what Regan Smith ran, but Menard, a 29.139 is his lap on lap number 1. Can he pick it up here on lap number 2? He comes across the line to take the checker flag. A 28.789 seconds for Paul Menard. A 28.789 for the 27 of Paul Menard. On track now, the number 21 Motorcraft Ford of Ryan Blaney making his third start here in the desert in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. Ryan Blaney, the number 21 Motorcraft Ford. Really struggled in practice. He was only 30th in practice for Ryan Blaney. Runs down the back straightaway going into turn 3. Really struggled with the speed and the handling on this car. This is a car that we would expect to be inside the top 10 in practice, but instead he was almost outside the top 30. As he takes the white flag, his first lap, a 28.731, a great first lap for Ryan Blaney. That is second on lap number 1 for Ryan Blaney. So whatever his crew did from practice to qualifying, it paid off, because that is a great first lap for Ryan Blaney. As he'll be running double duty here this weekend, running the 22 Xfinity car for Penske Racing on the Xfinity side. Sees the checker flag, and this is going to be a great lap for Ryan Blaney. A 28.363 for the number 21 of Ryan Blaney. That is the fastest lap so far here in qualifying. The final front row racing car to go out on track to qualify, that is the 38 of Landon Castle, the carsforsale.com Ford out of Front Row Motorsports. Landon Castle was 29th in practice. He is the 16th qualifier so far this afternoon for Landon Castle. Right now his teammates are currently 4th and 6th with Ryan Reed and Chris Buescher. Let's see what Landon Castle can do here on his first time lap. And a pretty good first lap, a 29.054 for Landon Castle. That is currently 13th of now the 16 times that we've seen so far. Pretty good first lap for Landon Castle. That should put him around somewhere around the top 5, I would imagine, with that first lap. We'll see what he can do here on his second run. Coming out to number 4, checker flag in the air for Landon Castle. And the time lap for him, a 28.725, third quickest for the number 38 of Landon Castle. Another driver coming out of Las Vegas with a poor finish is the number 13 Geico Chevrolet of Casey Mears. The Germain Racing driver got caught up in a crash at Las Vegas last weekend, giving him a 41st place finish after making the second round of qualifying last weekend. Casey Mears, the 17th qualifier, and Casey was 28th in practice. So ideally we would expect to see Mears go to the top of the board. We'll see what he can do here on lap number 1 for Casey Mears. And that is a 29.054 for Casey Mears on his first lap. This is the first RCR Alliance, or first team out of the RCR Alliance with Levon Family Racing, JTG Doherty Racing, and Germain Racing. So we'll see what kind of speed they have with Casey Mears as the first guy of that organization to come out to qualify, and it will be a 28.745 on his second lap. That is 4th quickest for the number 13 of Casey Mears. As we begin to get into that portion with the more funded cars now coming onto the track, the next car is the number 6 of Trevor BAYNE, the 2011 Daytona 500 champion, the Advocare Ford Fusion. Trevor BAYNE is the first Roush car on track for qualifying, and BAYNE was 27th in practice. BAYNE, the 18th qualifier here this afternoon. And lap number 1 stores a what for Trevor BAYNE. He comes across the line, and that is a great first lap for Trevor BAYNE. 28.873 for the number 6 of Trevor BAYNE. That first lap already puts BAYNE near the top 5 in 7th place. Not far off from what the 35 of Ryan Reed currently is 6th. Not far from what he ran. BAYNE comes out of turn 4, trying to pick it up here on lap number 2. Can get inside the top 5, a 28.494 seconds for the number 6 of Trevor BAYNE. The number 95 of Michael McDowell, the 19th qualifier, coming off a 40th place finish last weekend at Las Vegas. Also another guy who was involved in that crash involving KASEY MEARS and Cole WHITT. McDowell 26 in practice. The K-Love colors remaining on board the number 95 car this weekend. Be on board for all 3 of the West Coast Swing races for Michael McDowell. He'll be coming out of turn 4 to complete his first time lap. Right now, the fastest lap so far is still the 21 of Ryan Blaney, a 29.035. That is the first lap for Michael McDowell. That would put McDowell, it appears that would put him 15th on the starting grid should he not pick up, or should things stay the same for the 95 car. But that should be enough to get him inside the top 10, as he'll come from turn number 4. Levine Family Racing and Michael McDowell, their second time lap, a 28.854 for Michael McDowell. That is currently going to be inside the top 10. That is 8th quickest for Michael McDowell in the 95. It is a bit of a surprise to see this guy on track early on in qualifying. The 48 Jimmy Johnson, the first Hendrick Chevrolet now to take part here in Camping World 500 qualifying. Jimmy Johnson, the number 48 Lou Chevrolet, he was 25th in practice, the 20th qualifier to go out. And on lap number 1, when he comes around the turn number 4, the lap he needs to beat for the pole is a 28.363 set by the 21 of Ryan Blaney, who remains the fastest. Right now, him, Trevor BAYNE, and Regan Smith are the top 3, as Johnson puts down a 28.715 on lap number 1. That is currently 4th on the board for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. Still looking for his first win of the year in the number 48 Lou Chevrolet. The 6-time champion in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, a multiple-time winner here at the Phoenix International Raceway, a 28.400 seconds for the 48 of Jimmy Johnson. New colors for Dale Earnhardt Jr. this weekend here at Phoenix. Axalta coming on board for the primary sponsor beginning this weekend at Phoenix, and a new paint scheme for Axalta on the number 88 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Dale Jr.'s teammate Jimmy Johnson just went out. He is currently 2nd on the board. Let's see what his teammate Dale Jr. can do here on lap number 1. Dale Jr. won here in the fall of 2015 in the fall race when it ended under a rain. Dale Jr. comes out of turn 4 to see the white flag, a 28.828 for Dale Earnhardt Jr. He won the pole for the Daytona 500 this year. One pole in 2017. Coming off a nice top 10 run at Las Vegas last weekend. And right now for Dale Jr., he's going to be right now he is 9th quickest on his first lap. But he's not far off from the lap times in front, so he should be able to get inside the top 5 as he takes the checker flag, a 28.477. That is 3rd quickest for NASCAR's most popular driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr., 3rd quickest for the number 88. The first Joe Gibbs Racing car to qualify is the 19 of Carl Edwards. The Stanley Tools Toyota Camry out of Joe Gibbs Racing. Edwards takes the green flag for Carl Edwards. 23rd in practice, and he's really hasn't really showing that much speed in the first couple of races here in 2017. We saw him lead a little bit in the Daytona 500 based on pit stops, but from Atlanta and Las Vegas, we haven't really seen that much speed out of the 19, unlike from what we saw with his teammates the last couple of races. And for Edwards, a 28.749 for the 19 of Carl Edwards. 28.749, that would put him right now 8th quickest, just from his first lap. And like we said, the more we go on, the faster these cars will get. And Edwards will come out of turn number 4, and it will be a 28.418, third quickest for the 19 of Carl Edwards. Now on track to number 42, Coca-Cola Chevrolet of Kyle Larson for Chip Ganassi Racing. Like we said, 22 drivers left to go here to qualify. Right now, Ryan Blaney, Jimmy Johnson, and Carl Edwards is the top 3 at the moment. One driver trying to break inside the podium top 3. That would be the 42 of Kyle Larson. The Coca-Cola Energizer Target Chevrolet comes from turn number 4 to post his first time, a 28.690, a great lap by the 42 of Kyle Larson. Another driver who was outside the top 20 in practice, but for Kyle Larson, he says his car is pretty good and is optimistic about his qualifying run. Right now, a 28.690 has him right outside the top 10 in 7th place. And lap number 2, a 28.344, top of the board for the 42 of Kyle Larson, the new fastest man in qualifying. The 42 of Kyle Larson, the 28.344 for the 42. Now taking a look at the number 3, Dallas Chevrolet of Austin Dillon, the 2011 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series champion and the 2013 NASCAR Xfinity Series champion. Austin Dillon, the Dallas Chevrolet, the first Richard Childress racing car to go out to qualify. He was 21st in practice for Dillon. And he'll be coming out turn number 4 to post his first time. Right now, the 42 of Kyle Larson is the new current pole sitter, a 28.344. But for Austin Dillon, a 28.988 for Austin Dillon. Not a good first lap for the number 3 of Austin Dillon. And that lap right now, that would put him 19th on the grid at the moment for Austin Dillon. So that is, he needs a pretty big pickup here on lap number 2 if he wants to have a good starting spot for Sunday's race. Coming out to number 4, Dillon takes the checker flag, and it'll be a 28.665 for Austin Dillon. That will be, it appears that will be in the 7th spot for Austin Dillon. The Great Clips Chevrolet, Kasey Kahne, takes the green flag for his qualifying run. The 3rd Hendrick Chevrolet to take part in single car qualifying for Sunday's Camping Road 500. Kasey Kahne, the Great Clips colors on board. And he'll be coming out of turn number 4. Right now, the 42 of Kyle Larson is still the quickest man, with Ryan Blaney, Jimmy Johnson, Carl Edwards, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. rounding out the top 5. Kasey Kahne trying to get inside the top 5 as he comes across the line. A 28.869 for Kasey Kahne. Not a pretty good, that's not really a good first lap for Kasey Kahne either. We just saw Austin Dillon come up a little bit short in 7th place. And for right now, Kasey Kahne on his 2nd lap coming out of turn number 4. Not sure how much of a pickup Kasey Kahne can get in the 5. Comes across the line, a 28.561 for Kasey Kahne, 7th quickest for Kasey Kahne. Here comes the number 11 of Denny Hamlin off turn number 4 to take the green flag. The 2nd Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota to go out to qualify. We just saw his teammate Carl Edwards go out. Right now he is currently 4th quickest. Right now their other 2 teammates, KENSETH and Kyle Busch, they were inside the top 5 in practice. So we'll see what Denny Hamlin can do here on lap number 1. Hamlin, the With 19 cars left to qualify, he is the 26th qualifier here this afternoon, and on lap number 1, a 28.715 for Denny Hamlin. That would put Hamlin 10th quickest at the moment for Denny Hamlin, another former Phoenix winner. Won here back in 2012. Who's at the track in turns 3 and 4. Out of the final corner, it will be a 28.370 for Denny Hamlin, third quickest for the 11 Denny Hamlin. A nice pickup from lap number 1 to lap number 2, third quickest for the number 11 of Denny Hamlin. Now on track the number 77 Sport Clips Toyota of Erik Jones, the Rookie of the Year at a Furniture Row Racing. Erik Jones, the Sport Clips colors on board, the number 77 this weekend. He'll be making his first career Cup Series start here in the desert on Sunday. Erik Jones will go out right now. Then it'll be Ryan Newman, Martin Truex, his teammates, and the one of Jamie McMurray. Those are the next couple of qualifiers that go out onto the track. And for Erik Jones, a 28.863, another not so good first lap. You know, we've seen Dillon, Kane, and even Hamlin not really run as fast as we've seen a lot of other cars. So on their first lap, so we'll see what Erik Jones can do here to try to pick it up here on lap number 2 for the 77 of Erik Jones, a 28.457. That is 6th quickest for the rookie Erik Jones, a 28.457 for Erik Jones. On track now, the number 31 Caterpillar Chevrolet of Ryan Newman, the Richard Childress Racing Chevrolet. Now comes off of turn number 4 to take the green flag for Ryan Newman. Hey, another former Phoenix winner, last one here back in the spring of 2010, when he and Jeff Gordon stayed out of pit road, and Newman grabbed the lead away from Gordon on the final restart and took home the win for Stuart Haas Racing at the time. Ryan Newman now driving for RCR in the Chevrolet, and he comes off of turn 4, and right now his teammate Austin Dillon did not really run that good of a first lap. Dillon is currently 10th, and for Newman, a 28.950 for Ryan Newman. That is even slower than what Austin Dillon ran on his first lap. Right now, Ryan Newman is 22nd, if you would include his first lap time, a 28.950. Newman comes off the final corner, and it would be what? On lap number 2 for Ryan Newman, a 28.591. That is right on top of what Austin Dillon ran. Ryan Newman, he is currently 10th quickest in the Caterpillar Chevrolet. The Bass Pro Shops Toyota of Martin Truex Jr. now comes off of turn number 4. He'll see the green flag on his qualifying run. He'll have 2 laps to try to take the pole away from Kyle Larson. Larson still the quickest at a 28.344. We just got done seeing Truex's teammate Erik Jones go out, and Jones is currently 6th quickest, so we'll see what Truex can do here. Another Toyota driver. We've seen Edwards and Hamlin also go out. Furniture Row Racing has that alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, and Truex exits turn number 4. Down to the line, a 28.676, a pretty good first lap for Martin Truex Jr. in the 78. The Bass Pro Shop colors on board, number 78. Goes down in the turn number 3. And he'll come off the final corner down to the line. Can he pick it up and go to the top of the board? A 28.323, top of the board for the 78, Martin Truex Jr. He's now the new fastest man here in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. Now we've seen what Kyle Larson posted on his qualifying run, who is now currently 2nd quickest. Let's see what his teammate Jamie McMurray can do here on his first lap. The McDonald Chevrolet rolling through turns number 1 and 2. McMurray has never been in victory lane here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Rolling down into turn number 3, car slides up the track, and I believe every single car we've seen so far in qualifying has not been able to keep their car right near that yellow line through turns 3 and 4. And for McMurray, a 28.758 for Jamie McMurray on lap number 1. That 758 would put McMurray 16th here in qualifying. He is the 30th qualifier to go out. McMurray was inside the top 15. These are now the top 15 fastest cars we are getting into from practice, and McMurray comes off of turn number 4, a 28.433 for Jamie McMurray. That will be 7th quickest for the McDonald Chevrolet of Jamie McMurray. Taking a look at the number 16, Nesson Fuel of Greg Biffle. The second Roush Fenway forward to go out onto the speedway. Biffle 14th in practice for Greg Biffle. His only teammate so far who has went out is the 6th. Trevor BAYNE is currently 10th at the moment. So that is kind of the baseline on where we would expect Greg Biffle to be. Roush cars are set up equally right now. Biffle, who was 14th in practice, comes out the final corner. On his first lap, a 29.008. That is not a good lap for Greg Biffle on his first lap. That is way down. That's 20. That is tied for 26. Right now, Dylan Lupton is 26, and Biffle just tied him for 26. Right now, Biffle would have the tiebreaker. But not a good first lap for Greg Biffle. And can he pick it up any here on lap number 2? A 28.604 for Greg Biffle. That is 13th of the now 31 qualifiers here at Phoenix. The final RCR Chevrolet to take the green flag in qualifying, the 33 rookie TY DILLON. Another Bass Pro Shop car on track. We just saw Martin Truex go to the top of the board in the 78. Another Bass Pro Shops car on track, the 33 of TY DILLON, the rookie of the year contender out of Richard Childress Racing. Going out turn number 4 to post his first time here in qualifying. TY DILLON, a 28.982 for TY DILLON. That is a 28.982 for the 33, and that's not really a good first lap either for the 33. That would land TY DILLON all the way down. I'm looking right outside the top 25 for sure. That will be around the 27th spot, around that area for TY DILLON. Should he not pick up, he should, as he does, to a 28.640 for the 33 of TY DILLON. That is currently 14th, right in front of his older brother Austin Dillon. So it'll be 14th quickest for TY DILLON. If there is any team here at Phoenix this weekend with a lot of speed, it is Stewart-Haas Racing. All of their cars inside the top 12 in practice this morning. And the first Stewart-Haas car to take time here in qualifying, the 41 of Kurt Busch. The 2004 NASCAR Sprint Cup Series champion, Kurt Busch, the Monster Energy Ford Fusion. Rolling down into turn number 3 up the track. Coming to take the white flag here and qualifying for Sunday's Camping Road 500. Kurt Busch across the line, a 28.809 for the 41 of Kurt Busch. Not the lap he was hoping for on his first one. And the first lap pretty much kind of sets the tone of what we would expect to see him on lap number 2. And a 28.809, that is not really what Kurt Busch and his team wanted to see on his first lap. Although it is the second lap that matters, and it's going to be a 28.408 for Kurt Busch. That is 6th quickest for the 41 of Kurt Busch. Next driver to go out on the speedway to qualify is the Waffle House number 43 of Erik Almirola out of Richard Petty Motorsports. Erik Almirola, 11th in practice, has had a pretty good car so far on this Friday afternoon. It's been pretty good ever since he unloaded this morning, and Erik Almirola was 11th in practice. the Waffle House on board the 43 this weekend. His teammate Regan Smith is all the way back in 17th at the moment, but for Eric Almirola, he comes off the final corner. His first lap is going to be a 28.909. Another disappointing first lap. This one is for Eric Almirola. After Almirola, we will have 10 drivers left to go out to qualify, trying to knock the 78 of Martin Truex Jr. off the pole for Sunday's race. Almirola through turns 3 and 4. Comes off the corner, down to the checker flag, which is in the air. A 28.563 for Eric Almirola. That is going to be 13th of the 34 cars that are now taking time here in Cup Series qualifying. As we now enter the 10 fastest drivers in practice, it begins with the number 2 of Brad Keselowski. The Alliance Truck Parts Ford out of Team Penske. Brad Keselowski, or 2017 Daytona 500 champion. Down the back straightaway for Keselowski. Going down into turn number 3. Keselowski already has a win. Will be running for his 3rd championship in the fall. Comes across the line. On lap number 2, lap number 1, it is a 28.824. Not really a good first lap for Brad Keselowski. Keselowski, a guy who we would be expecting to contend for the pole against Martin Truex. Not that good of a lap here in lap number 1, a 28.824. Comes off the final corner, trying to pick it up. It'll be a 28.477 for Brad Keselowski. That would put Keselowski actually tied with Dale Earnhardt Jr. But Keselowski would win the tiebreakers. So Keselowski is 10th quickest here in Cup Series qualifying. One of the fastest Chevrolets in practice belongs to the 47 team of A.J. Allmendinger out of JTG Doherty Racing. The number 47 Kroger Chevrolet now hits the speedway for his first lap. Comes off turn number 2 down the backstretch. He was 9th in practice for Allmendinger. Allmendinger really good at the tracks that uses a lot of brake. Either it's a short track or a road course. That really fits into Allmendinger's driving style. As he makes his way from turn number 4, he'll see the white flag. One more lap to go for A.J. Allmendinger. His first lap, a 29.038 for A.J. Allmendinger. So his practice speed doesn't seem to be translating over to a qualifying speed, as Allmendinger a lot slower than what he ran in practice, a 29.038 for Allmendinger. Comes out the final corner, the Kroger Chevrolet takes the checker flag, and it'll be a 28.620 for A.J. Allmendinger. That is 17th quickest of the now 36 cars that have qualified for Sunday's race. When we look at practice results from this morning, there's only one Hendrick car that's actually pretty quick in practice. That would be the number 24 of Chase Elliott. The Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet for Chase Elliott. He already took the green flag. Elliott getting set to make his 3rd start here in the desert in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series, the 2014 Xfinity champion. We coming out turn number 4, number 24 for Hendrick Motorsports. Takes the white flag for his qualifying run, and it is a 28.667 for Chase Elliott. And that is a pretty good first lap for Elliott. That is a respectable lap for Elliott in the 24. Obviously, he would love to pick up, because if not, he would start outside the top 20. But Elliott making his way off the final corner. Should be somewhere near his teammates Johnson and Earnhardt. And it'll be a 28.352, 3rd quickest for Chase Elliott. Meaning that the first 3 cars now at the moment is Martin Truex, Kyle Larson, and now Chase Elliott, who is now 3rd quickest here in qualifying. Coming out turn number 4 now, the number 10 of Brian Vickers. 7 drivers left to go here in qualifying. The Haas Automation Ford for the 10 of Brian Vickers. Making his way through turns to number 1 and 2 down the backstretch. The second Stewart-Haas car to go out to qualify. After Vickers, we will see Logano, BOWYER, Kyle Busch, Stenhouse, HARVICK, and KENSETH go out and try to take down Martin Truex Jr. for the pole. Off the final corner on lap number 1, a 28.828 for Brian Vickers. That is kind of around the area that I believe we saw Kurt Busch run. Kurt Busch is currently 7th on the board. Vickers in a 28.828 would only put him 26 for the team car of Brian Vickers. Comes off the final corner, trying to pick it up, at least get inside the top 15. If better the top 10, a 28.511 for Brian Vickers. That is 14th quickest for the number 10 of Brian Vickers. One driver who is entering this weekend with a lot of momentum is the 22 team, Joey Logano. Last week's winner from Las Vegas. The Shell Pennzoil 4 now takes the green flag here in qualifying. So far, Brad Keselowski and Kevin Harvick, and now Joey Logano, the winners in 2017, have all pretty much punched themselves a spot into the chase to battle for a championship in the fall. Logano now in turns number 3, and coming at turn number 4, sees the white flag in the air for Joey Logano. And we can tell you officially that the drivers who have failed to qualify for this weekend's race are Joey GASE and David Gilliland. They will not compete in Sunday's Camping World 500. Logano in turns 3 and 4 comes off the final corner. What can the defending winner do here on lap number 2 of qualifying? A 28.451 for Joey Logano. Kind of a disappointing run for Logano. Only 10th quickest for the 22 of Joey Logano. 5 drivers left to qualify here for Sunday's race. The 14 of CLINT BOWYER, the 3rd Stewart-Haas Racing entry to go out to qualify. CLINT BOWYER 5th in practice. The 5-hour Energy Ford. BOWYER making his way through turns 3. Right now, Martin Truex is still the quickest guy here at Phoenix, followed by Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin. BOWYER first lap, a 28.711 for CLINT BOWYER. That seems to be in the area where we saw Kurt Busch run, and the 41 who's currently inside the top 10. For BOWYER, trying to get, I think it's a little bit quicker for BOWYER. A 28.711 for CLINT BOWYER on his first lap. Rolls through turns 3 and 4. Picks up the throttle, comes off the final corner, down to the checker flag. And it will be a 28.380 for CLINT BOWYER. A nice lap inside the top 10 for CLINT BOWYER. That is 6th quickest for the 5-hour Energy 4 for CLINT BOWYER. 4 drivers left to go. Now we have the number 18 Skittles Toyota of Kyle Busch. Another former winner here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Kyle Busch, the 18, goes into turn number 1. Right now, Martin Truex has locked a spot inside the top 5 on Sunday's starting grid. He would love to get that number 1 pit stall on pit road. That comes with winning the pole for a race. Kyle Busch, his teammates. Right now, the fastest one right now is Denny Hamlin in 5th place. Kyle Busch, a 28.809 for Kyle Busch on lap number 1. That's not really where he wants to be if he wants to challenge Martin Truex for the pole. If you want to get the pole, you may want to be in the 28.60s, somewhere in there. Maybe a 28, maybe a little bit in the low 28.60s. If you want to get a shot at getting the pole away from Martin Truex. For Kyle Busch, it will be a 28.483 for Kyle Busch on his second lap. That would put Busch outside the top 10 in 15th place for Kyle Busch. 3 cars left to go here in qualifying for the Camping World 500. 3 cars left to go, and now we have the number 17 of Ricky Stenhouse Jr. on track. The second to last 4 to go out. in the final Roush Fenway drive at the take time here in qualifying. It is Stenhouse, Kevin Harvick, and Matt Kenseth. Right now, your top 5, Martin Truex, Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin. That is the top 5. As Stenhouse brings his Zest forward off of the final corner to post the time on his first lap, a 28.960 for rookie Stenhouse Jr. A 28.960, that would put him, it appears, around the 36th spot. So Stenhouse would love to pick it up here on his second lap. In the turn number 3, coming out of turn number 4 for the number 17. You'll see the checker flag for Ricky Stenhouse, and it will be a 28.570, a 28.570 for Stenhouse, 20th on the second lap for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. If there is one driver we would expect to be a big contender for the win on Sunday, it would be this guy right here, for obvious reasons. 7 to 8 wins here at the Phoenix International Raceway, has won here all across NASCAR's top 3 series, from Cup to Xfinity to Trucks. Kevin Harvick on his first lap, second in practice, 2 cars left to go in the Busch Beer for the final 4 to go out to qualify. Harvick won Atlanta 2 races ago, put himself in the chase for 2017, brings his Ford off the final corner down to the line, a 28.704 for Kevin Harvick. Pretty good first lap for Kevin Harvick, but I'm not quite sure that'll be enough as a good enough first lap to contend for the pole with Martin Truex, who has a 28.32 at the moment. Kevin Harvick comes off the final corner. Off the final corner down to the checker flag. Kevin Harvick, can he pick it up to a top 10 run? A 28.382 for Kevin Harvick. That is 7th quickest, right behind teammate Clint BOWYER. A 28.382 for Kevin Harvick. And then there was one driver left to qualify, and it's the man who won practice this morning, the number 20 of Matt Kenseth. The DeWalt Toyota Camry for Joey Gibbs Racing. We are guaranteed a Toyota on the pole. It's just, will it be Martin Truex Jr. or the 20 of Matt Kenseth? Kenseth has never won here at the Phoenix International Raceway. Brings his car off the final corner to complete the first lap. He'll see the white flag. Can Kenseth contend for the pole? A 28.694. That's a pretty good first lap for the 20 of Matt Kenseth. That's quicker than what Kevin Harvick ran, and Harvick is currently 7th. Can Kenseth go out and grab the pole? In the turns 3. Off of turn number 4, this should be a top 5 run. Can he do it? Can Kenseth grab the pole away from Martin Truex Jr.? A 28.362, 4th quickest with a 20 of Matt Kenseth, which means Martin Truex Jr. will start from the pole on Sundays in Sunday's Camping World 500 here from the Phoenix International Raceway. So now NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying from Phoenix is in the books here, as the starting grid is set for Sunday afternoon's Camping World 500, and the pole goes to that man, the number 78, Martin Truex Jr. on the pole, his first pole of the year, and he'll lead the field down to green here on Sunday afternoon. Let's take a look at your full starting grid. The top 12 on your screen. Martin Truex on pole. Kyle Larson on his outside, the 42. Chase Elliott, Matt Kenseth, and Ryan Blaney, your top 5. Followed by Denny Hamlin, Clint BOWYER, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, and Kurt Busch. Carl Edwards and Jamie McMurray rounding out the top 12 on the first page. Second page begins with last week's winner, Joey Logano, who'll start 13th in his shell number 22. Alongside rookie ERIK Jones, Brad Keselowski, and Dale Jr. 16th, Kyle Busch, Trevor Bayne, Brian Vickers, and Kasey Kahne, the top 20. Followed by a couple of 4s of Aric Almirola and Ricky Stenhouse Jr., along with Ryan Newman, 23rd, and Greg Biffle, rounding out the top 24. 25th on down, 47, AJ Allmendinger, Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon, Regan Smith, Landon Cassill, and Casey MEARS. Paul Menard, Ryan Reed, Michael McDowell, Cole Witt, Chris Buescher, and Ryan Ellis all qualified for the event on speed via being inside the top 36. And then you see the rest: Michael Annette, Joey Gase, David Gilliland, Dylan Lupton, Stephen Light, TJ Bell, David RAGAN, and Reed Sorenson. Two names in red: Joey Gase and David Gilliland. They do not qualify for Sunday's Camping Road 500. They are the two lowest teams in honor points. 37th place Michael Annette on down to Reed Sorenson in 44th place. So those teams will get provisionals, but the 32 and the 23 will not. So the starting grid is set. The next on-track activity here in the desert is tonight. The NASCAR KAHNE Pro Series returns to the Phoenix International Raceway for tonight's Arizona Casino 100. 42 drivers and teams are entered. 42 drivers and teams will battle it out in tonight's NASCAR KAHNE Pro Series Race number 3 of the year, the Arizona Casino 100. That is tonight here on March at 531. So now the starting grid is set, and we'll see you Sunday for NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing here in the desert. Goodbye, everyone.